Started recording. Let started recording. Let me share my screen. Okay, I guess now you should see my screen. And yeah, so let's first talk a little bit about the local space and what that exactly means. So if you remember from previous session, we had these primitive objects here. I'm just going to start with my cube, and then I'm just going to duplicate it. If you remember, we had a channel box here that we, for example, could say I want my object to be in the 2, 0, 0 in the world, position 2, 0, 0, and that's one way to change the position of your stuff. Also, I think there's, yeah, you could see it over here as well. But now, if you just press your mouse middle button and drag your second cube below your first cube, now it will be it will be kind of a child of the first cube, and over here you can, you will see these places based on the first cube position. So if I remove, if I move this object, for example, to there, you will see that it says it's kind of in place 200 based on the place of this cube. So now, for example, if I want to have kind of a small curve that my cubes, kind of go consecutively, you will see what I mean. What I can do is to say I want my first cube to, for example, have 0 degrees, then my second one should have another degree, but let me just duplicate it first. And then,
Sorry, can you show
sure.
how you made it a child?
Yeah, just click and hold your middle mouse button and drag your object around the first one. So for example, if you want to make the p-cube 3 child of the p-cube 2, just middle mouse click on it and then drag it over the p-cube 2, and that should work.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then in
Wait.
the rotation Y, I can hear myself.
How do I get the outliner to come out?
It's not there. You cannot see it there.
No.
Okay, so go to Windows and then Outliner here.
Okay. Okay, I see it.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, any problem? Okay, so let's go ahead. Now I want to just, let's say I want it to have -20 degrees, and then what I can do is to say I want my cube to, sorry, not along this direction, not that direction, to have to position of 2 in that direction. Now you can see we are kind of moving in a curve, and I will do that the same, for example, for the p-cube 3. Let me make it -20. Oh no, sorry, not the translation, everything is wrong. First I should make the p-cube 4 the child of p-cube 3, and make it -20 degrees, and yeah, and then it would be 2. So, sorry, I did this mistake again. It would be 2 here. Yeah, so you will see that sorry, your objects kind of start to position themselves in a, for example, curve direction, and this hierarchy and this local space helps you to kind of control things by their parents. So for example, if you want to have more rotation from here, you can just rotate with the third cube, or for example, if you want to have more rotation from here, you can just do it from the second cube, and you will see this especially very helpful in modeling and more especially in the animating the characters. That's going to be really helpful. And yeah, this is the difference with the uh, local and word space. So I mean, I could uh, position objects based on their parent, but for example, if you just put this p cube for out, you will see these kind of nonsense numbers that you cannot uh, understand them without putting your, I mean, cubes as the child of the other cube, so that you place them correctly, let's say 2 meters forward, and then rotated by some degrees. uh, any question? It didn't make sense, or do you have any question on what exactly local space mean and what does it do for us? I will also, at the end of the lab, try to find a 3D model, I mean a 3D character model that is kind of rigged, and then I will show you what that rig exactly do for us and why that's really good. Yeah, any question? Any problem? Okay, so I guess everyone is kind of fine, and yeah, so next I'm going to start modeling an object. And if you remember from the previous session, we were trying to um, use different objects and then kind of put them over each other or next to each other to uh, make a make an object in a very simple way. But now we want to try to just stick with one shape and try to form that without kind of using other shapes or putting shapes into each other. So I will give you a few minutes so that you can go and search in the internet and find an image that you can bring in Maya and start modeling with it. So let's say at this step we will model two things, but first we want to model a flower pot, and for that let me just go back to where I think you are there, sorry, over here. I think you are all here when you make a new scene. Press space and then right click and go to front view. Now I'm in my front view again. Let's just go back again. Space, right click, hold it, and then go to front view. Now when you are there in the front view, go to view and then image plane and import image. Let me just bring an image from my computer. I guess that works. Okay, I have brought a pot. I think I found it in Wayfair. I hope they're fine with that. On their site I found this model. So uh, I've just brought this image here, and what I can do is to either put it behind my model and try to uh, make it kind of exactly match this model, or just put it somewhere there and then start modeling my own model and take a look at the kind of uh, the base shape I had, but do my own thing and let's say scale things the way I think is better maybe than the original image. So there are two things, but that's really good, I think, to have a kind of a sample image and then try to model based on that. So view, import plane, and then import image, and go and find your image whatever you want, and then we will start modeling a simple pot. And also one last thing until I give you a few minutes to find something, is that when you, for example, want to put it here, because if you remember, we wanted our model to kind of be exactly, let's say, over the this bold black line, which is the zero line. So if you want to just snap your model in over these uh, let's say dots, press X, and then you can just move the center of your model over these uh, predefined dots. So for example, I think it's the best one is for me this place. And let's see what else. Yeah, and also you can just press this button to do it as well. They're the same exactly. Yeah, I think that's it. Any question? Any problem? Any question?
Excuse me,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
can you share your picture into the Discord chat?
Yeah, because you know it's from the Wayfair site. I don't know if that's okay or not. Yeah, but I can say just search pots. Pot. Let me just take a look at how did I find it. Let me just take a look at what did I search exactly to find. I think that's it. Okay. Yeah. Let me just put it in the chat. Okay, I have put it in the lecture lab feed channel so that you can download it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? So you will have 2 more minutes to find something and then we will go ahead and start modeling a very simple pot example. There's also one way to quickly move between different views. If you just press the L and then just release it very fast, like this, you will kind of switch between these two kind of state, having four pictures, or let's say having four views, or having just one view. So let's say if I press the spacebar and then release it very fast, you will see these four views. And then if, for example, you want to go to the top view, just put your mouse in that top view window, and then again do that space thing, pressing and releasing it quickly. Then you can just fastly move between your different views. But these are all the same. Okay, I guess now we can go ahead, and if you just take a look at the overall structure of our kind of pot here, you can start with different objects, but I think the best one is the cylinder. So I'm just going to go ahead with the cylinder, and let me just go to the perspective view is a little better. And there's also one other thing. So if, let's say, I want to model my object exactly over the origin point, my this pot picture maybe should go a little further along the z-axis. So I would just move it a little further. So that would be it. And let's just create our cylinder here. And let's just go to the front view. What I should do is to kind of scale it so that I get sure that kind of matches my object. So let's just maybe 2.5. I think that works, and then 0.1. Okay, I think that's good, but I would make it a little smaller, and you will see why. Maybe a little more, 2.2. I think that's good. Okay, now let's go to the perspective view and see. Oh, okay, what's happening? I think I made a mistake. Okay, yeah. Okay. Now, if you look at our cylinder, it seems that it is kind of okay because I think it kind of matches the overall radius there. But there is also one thing that I would like to make it a little more smoother, so I will just increase it to 40 to have a better circle. And now I'm just going to try making the kind of walls of my pot. So it's just the base, and then I'm going to construct its walls, let's say, over it. So for doing that, there is one very useful command. I don't remember exactly if we have used it in the previous session, but I don't think so. So what I'm going to do is to select some faces. And I'm going to just select these small faces around our object. I'm just trying saying these very short faces. Yeah. So for doing that, if you remember, uh, as I said, you can just select one of them and then select the second one and double click on it. Sorry, select the first one, hold the shift and select the second one and double click on it. It will kind of just understand how these faces are going and then selects all of them. So again, select one of the faces, then hold shift, click on the second one and double click. Yeah, sorry. First one, shift and double click on the second one. Oh, why it's not working? Yeah, it's working. I don't know why it didn't work in the previous two attempts, but yeah, again, first one, shift, the second one. And then we want to extrude it to kind of make it come out. To do that, yeah, you can either go through this modeling toolkit and find it here, extrude, and just use this arrow, this yellow arrow here, to kind of move your edges further toward the center. Or let's just go back, edit mesh, sorry, mesh tools. I think these names are kind of bad because I always forget where are they. Yeah, extrude is here, extrude, and then use the arrow to move your faces further. That's up to you and it's not really important. Let me see if that kind of matches my model. I think that's good. And then what I'm going to do is to select these faces exactly as we did for selecting the outer faces. I'm just going to select all the faces around my main circle, and then we will do the extrude thing again. Let me just go to the extrude and then move it upward. Any question before going forward? Sorry.
Yeah, I have a question.
Mhm.
I kind of missed how you selected the faces on the outside.
Yeah, so let's say I want to select all the faces on the outside. Let's first select the first face and then select one of the neighbor faces. And first select the first one and then hold shift and double click on the second one. You will see that it will select all those faces you want. So the first one and then hold shift, double click on the second one.
I think currently it's not selecting the faces for me. I think it's selecting the vertices or
Yeah, okay.
something.
Okay, so if that's the case, just right click on your object and you will see and hold it and you will see this menu, edge, object mode, whatever.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
go
yeah.
over the face and then now you can select the faces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any other question? Okay, if not, let's just again select all these outside faces in the main circle, and as I said, extrude them and move them upward. It's there and move them upward. Okay, now if I look at my vertices here, I see that, let's say I want to put them exactly here. Yeah, I can easily move my vertices up until the point that I think it's let's say okay. And if you want to see through your model, just press the 3, sorry, not the 3, 4, yeah, 4, and then it will make it kind of into a wireframe thing, and you will see through it, and you can see your model from there. And the little problem we have over here is that we want to kind of move all of these vertices to the point that they kind of match this circle instead of having the exact radius with the first one, with the first circle. So for doing it, I think the best way is to kind of scale them. So and for selecting the vertices, again, just right click on your model and go to vertex. Now I have selected my vertices, and also I think it's okay to select the faces as well, because they're also having the same vertices, and just scale them in a sense that you kind of get happy with the lines you have there. I think it's kind of okay. I can see if you just look at the front view, you can see it's going over the lines in a good manner. And one more thing, I prefer to do it this way. You can, as I said, put the picture over here and then just look at it and model your 3D model, whatever. I mean, in a sense that you like it. It shouldn't always follow the exact image. You can just uh, follow your sample instead of uh, trying to modeling it accurately as it is. Yeah, so I think it's kind of okay. I can see that it matches my lines there, and now I want to kind of make these edges for my pot as well. So what I'm going to do is to use another important tool, uh, which is if I remember correctly, insert edge loop tool, and it's over here, mesh tools, insert edge loop tool. And yeah, it's not the exact setting I want, so I think it should be okay for you, but for me it's different. Yeah, let me go to it, insert edge loop tool, and then what I want to have relative distance from the edge. So it's just saying wherever I put my first vertex, it will calculate the distance from this vertex and put it exactly the same for all the vertices along this direction, along the these outer edges of our model. So I want to just put some uh, edge here. So I think that's, oh, it's going to the back. That should be okay, I guess. It's up to you on where you put it and how do you imagine the model. I have something in my mind, but that's not important. You can just uh, do whatever you want. And yeah, again, select these outer edges, sorry, faces, and let's just extrude them. Where was that extrude? Is here. And yeah, let's just move them a bit here and then up. Yeah, and then I will move all of them a little upward, and that should be okay for now. But you see that it's kind of uh, having some slope in a bad direction. So what I'm going to do is to select all these edges. You can either sometimes click on one edge and double click on it. It will sometimes understand what you mean and selects the best uh, let's say set of uh, faces or either edges for you. And then it's kind of maybe a small, sorry for that, I cannot do anything for that, but yeah, I mean what I'm going to do is to scale them a bit so that they have kind of a good slope as I would like. So you can see that, let's see over here, my slopes are kind of good. They're kind of following the model. And also, for example, for this picture, I just want to mention that you can see that it's not completely centered, because over here it's fine, over here it's just kind of out of my model. It's because of the nature of the image. It's not important. You can just imagine that it is correct. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is to use another insert edge loop tool to make to split each of these faces into two faces, and then kind of extrude the last the outside faces, and move them downward to make a kind of handle, or a handle edge that people can use it to move the pot. But before going forward, any question, any problem in going through these steps? You have any problem? Do you want me to go slower, for example, or you're just okay with following what I'm doing?
Yeah, so how do you do the edge loop thing?
The
Or like
insert
catch?
edge. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how to put in the edge loops to make make the top part come out around the pot.
Yeah. So let me just go back. Maybe I can. Yeah, I can go back and do it fast. That's fine. Yeah. So I think you mean this step. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So go to Edit Mesh. Or sorry, Mesh Tools. Yeah, it's Mesh Tools, and then Insert Edge Loop. Go there. If you may have different options, different settings, but just go with relative distance from the edge, and then check that this autocomplete is checked, and just move your vertices in a sense that you kind of see that let's say it's half of the height of this right and left kind of edges. Did you find that option? Is that okay?
Uh, oh, I
Could you repeat that,
Sure,
please?
sure. So sorry, I always forget the menu. Yeah, Mesh Tools, and then Insert Edge Loop. Click on this small square here, and go to relative distance from edge, and we will see what the others do, but for now just relative distance from the edge, and check that this autocomplete is okay and is selected, and then move your insert edge loop. Let's say I'm looking at the front, in a sense that you are kind of happy with where it is placed. And don't forget that there are two kind of surfaces in your model, so you may kind of make the edges in the inner circle, not the outer one, just make sure that you are placing them correctly. So try to pay attention to where are the vertices placed. I can see that the green vertices are kind of on the outer edge instead of being in the inner one. If you if you just understand what I say, if that makes sense. Yeah, try to just place them in the outer, let's say, surface instead of the inner ones. Yeah, did that work for anyone, or everyone, or we should wait more? Is there anyone having a problem still?
I'm still
Hmm.
step behind this.
Okay.
When you extrude it up, I'm only extruding like the edge. Like it's not extruding the
Uh-huh.
face.
Yeah, that's also one thing that maybe I forgot to mention. So it's based on what you select. If you just select the edges, let's say, oh, sorry. And also, if you want to go out of the tools, just press Q. It will go out of that tool. if you, for example, select edges and try to extrude them, where is it? It's there. You will see that it just you can just extrude the edges. But now we want to just extrude all the faces. Now for that, we should select all the required faces and then go and select extrude and move them upward. And maybe kind of a short key is to just use shift. So selecting these ones and then go to move and shift and move them upward is also okay. Yeah. So again, select the faces instead of the edges and then extrude the faces. That's important because if you just select the edges and extrude them, then your model thickness would be 0. It's just a very thin
Oh,
plate around your model. Moreover, if you kind of import your model in, I know, in the game engines, for example, uh, you will see that it has kind of some walls around it. But if you go through into your model and you look outside, you will see no walls because these I mean faces have some normals, and models are kind of rendered by the normals. And if you just go behind a face, you cannot see the face and you can see through it. So it's important to have all the inner and outer faces. If uh, let's say there is an space in your model. Let's say if you want to create a home, a house, for example, that the character that cannot go through it, that's fine. You're just seeing the outside of your home. But if you are going to walk through it, I mean, if the character is going to walk through the house, then you should have your walls, and the walls should have thickness. If they don't have thickness, the walls would be invisible when the character goes through the house, goes to the house. Yeah.
when I extrude the face up, it like stretches. So if I go up higher, it like gets thinner. That makes
Oh,
kind of
sorry.
like
I, could you repeat that again? I didn't.
so if I like extrude the faces and drag it up,
Mm-hmm.
it treats it kind of like a burb or like a curve, a nerve, I guess, and it like gets thinner and thinner. That makes like it doesn't just go up uniformly.
Okay, let's see what happens. Let me just go back more. How much should I go back? Uh, then maybe it's better to do it from the scratch. Yeah, so select, let me just select faces, and then what you can do is to select extrude, and don't go with its arrows. Maybe there is something wrong with it. Just select the move tool and move your faces upward. I think then it shouldn't make it kind of thicker or thinner, if that makes sense. Is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, I guess my eyes. I think. Yeah,
Sorry.
I'll try it again.
Yeah, sorry. Your voice kind of goes down and up. Sorry, I couldn't hear you completely. I hope I have answered you correctly.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try again. You can continue.
Okay, okay. Sorry. Okay. So let me just go back to where we were, and yeah, that's one step. Then again, going to this insert edge loop tool, I will place it here, for example, and then I should select the faces. And again, if let's say you have selected the insert edge loop tool, it doesn't go out unless you press Q or select one of these tools. So that's important. You may just get stuck there, and whatever you click, just add some edges for you. Make sure that you kind of get out of that tool when you finished using it. Let me just extrude it. Where is that extrude? There. Okay. And move it outward. Okay. I think that's okay. What I can do is to, yeah, make it, sorry, move it a little more. And then, as I said, select the edges there and scale them down a bit. that they are placed in the correct manner. I think that's fine, at least for me. And yeah, if you take a look at our model, it's kind of pretty similar to what we wanted to do. And now what I'm going to do is to add another edge loop tool here to go for the kind of very simple handle around all around our pot. Yeah, again, insert edge loop tool there. I guess that's okay. Then I should select all the faces and extrude them. And what I would do is to make it a little maybe bigger, at least. Okay, so I think if I make it bigger, then I can kind of, okay. If you, for example, I had the problem of if I try to make it bigger, wider, I mean make the circle radius a little bigger in that place, but between the two steps I couldn't select one step in my mind. So what I did was to just make the arrows bigger so that I can scale my object more accurately. So that's one thing to remember. And now if you take a look at your model, you will see that you will have kind of these edges in your model that people can grab from there, and you'll have your pot there. Any question or any problem? Is there any step that you want me to do it again? And whenever you want to go back to kind of your to see your model in a shaded mode, just click on 5 and then 4 and 5. Just makes it visible and invisible. Sorry, transparent and opaque if you want. Yeah, so then you can see through it and kind of match it with the sample picture there. Okay, so if everyone is kind of okay, let me just like also take a look at the chats. Yeah, if you have any question, you can also type in the lecture lab feed. I will take a look at that and answer you if that's if that's better for you and more comfortable. Now let's say if I want to have smoother edges along here, so let me just make it. Yeah, you can see it's kind of a very sharp edge there. If you want to make it a smoother, what you can do is to select all these edges, and now we are going to see another important tool here, bevel. If you just click on the bevel, you will see that it kind of makes it smoother, and these are the kind of parameters that it is working on based on. So the fraction is the percentage, let's say how what portion of this face is going to be get smoother. So let me just go back. Yeah, you will see that 50% of that face is kind of got smoother. The segments are the number of segments used to make your object smoother. So one would be like this, two would be something like this, and let's say 5 I think would give you a good kind of smooth object. And yeah, I think that's it for the bevel. So whenever you want to have smoother edges, just use bevel, and you will see that bevel may also have more usages in the next labs. What else I wanted to say? Yeah, there's also one thing that you may want to do. Let's say you want to have your object, when you want to render it, you want to have a smoother object. instead of increasing the polygons, you want the Maya to kind of render your object smoother. So if you click on 3, if I remember correctly, yeah, it will make it smoother for you. You can see you cannot see, I mean, let's go back to the, sorry, the 5. Let me just make sure, and then 3. Yeah, you will see that the edges kind of get smoother. And then, yeah, so I was just looking through the buttons. Sorry, I forgot that. So 1 would give you the normal model, and 3 would make it smoother. So I mean, before making it smoother, you can see these fragments, these kind of lines there. That, I mean, you can easily differentiate between the faces. These are the faces, and even if you don't look at them and look at the model, you can see these faces. If you make it smooth by selecting the object and clicking on 3, you kind of see a better, let's say, fragments, and then you can see it's a lot less than before. And I mean, you see a smoother surface, but the problem is that it kind of makes the, maybe let's say, the sharp edges for you smoother. You may don't want to have that smooth effect there. So if that's the case and you want to have a very sharp edge, let's say around this circle, this inner circle, what you can do is to insert another edge loop tool there, sorry, another edge loop there, very near to your actual edges, and then if you make your object smoother, you will see that your edge is kind of a lot sharper than before. And keep in mind that when you import your object somewhere, let's say in Unity or in game engines, you will see the kind of normal model, not the smoother one. So try it, if you want to import it, sorry, export it out of Maya and import it somewhere else. Keep in mind that the normal model would be seen there. So Jam, I'm not sure what do you mean by how to angle. Well, let's say if you, if I have understood what you said correctly, let me just make it. Yeah. So let's say let's say the faces are not placed and facing the correct direction you want, just select the edges you want to change and then scale them so that you will kind of, let's say I want to have them go backward. I can do it. You can just scale them down and they will kind of get near to each other and make a specified or particular angle for you, if that's what you mean. So I mean, and also if you just take a look at these edges there, let me just go back to perspective view. You can see that it is also making the base of our pot a lot smoother. You may don't want that one as well. So again, let me just take a look at the menus. Where was this insert edge loop? Yeah, it's there. Just put an edge loop there as well. And now if you make it smoother, you kind of see a more sharper edges at the base of your pot. Now we are at the end of this example. Is there any question or problem?
Yeah, can you go over how to use the bevel?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go back. Or also maybe I could, yeah. For example, if you want to make this edge smoother, just select all the edges you want. And then what you can do is to go to, I think it should be here as well. Yeah, bevel. And then you can just play with these numbers to have your own smooth edge, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question? And let me just say that again, if you want to have hard edges, do that by adding, let's say, an edge loop near your vertices. If you want to have soft edges, use the bevel tool to make the edges softer. Any question, any problem? Do you want me to wait, or we can go forward for the next model?
Oh, one more thing.
Mhm.
When you use the edge tool, like sometimes when you click it, it's like vertical, but sometimes it's horizontal. So how do you choose
Uh,
which one?
I would say that's based on which edge you select. Let me just go back to the insert edge. Yeah. So for example, if I select on this edge, which is a kind of horizontal edge, you will see that it will try to make some vertical, let's say, edge loop tool. But if I select these vertical edges, you will see that it will try to add horizontal edge loop tools.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other question? Okay, I guess everyone is kind of okay. Yeah, as I said, I mean, it's not a good habit, but always try to save your scenes and uh, yeah, make versions of them. We are just making very simple samples, but don't do it in real life. Just open it here, and I'm just trying to check if I have the correct feature for the next example. Okay, that should be here, and then so let me just, and the next model is a simple blender. um, I will try to find a picture and send it to Discord as well, but you can try to find a simple old blender maybe, so that we can go ahead and try to model it. Let me save that and see if it is saved correctly. Okay, maybe it's better to do it in the paint. Sorry, I don't know why it is not saving correctly from my browser, but that's fine. Okay, and let me just import it here and then send it for you. But I would recommend you to go for your own models and try to uh, make the ones that you like. Then view, import plane, import image. Okay, so I'm going to use this blender, but you may find a better one. Oh, yeah. For this one, I'm not going to try to do it exactly and accurately as it is. I'm just going to look as a sample and design my own blender. Okay, so let's see how we can do it. Are you all okay to go ahead, or you're still importing the images? Okay, I will wait. So please tell me if whenever you have finished so that we can go ahead. You know what does that mean? Sorry, I don't know what does plus divided by minus mean. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, if there is no one remaining who is still importing the images, I think we may go forward. Okay, someone is still typing. Okay, we are just going to start with very simple object, which is a cube, and I will just move it 0.5 to set it exactly. Okay, if I didn't yeah, although I'm just recording the lab right now, and I will post it tonight. Okay, so yeah, we have just moved the cube 0.5 meters upward. You're welcome, Allah. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is to uh, use the numbers again, maybe, to set the size of my cube as the base of my blender, and then we will go forward with creating kind of the circle over it and adding the buttons to it and see how that works. Okay, so let's just make it wider. I think it's kind of more than what I wanted. Okay, and let's just add some depth to it. I would say 4 seems okay as well. And I think the height of the blender is kind of okay, but maybe 1.5 is a little better. And 0.75. Okay, I guess that works. And yep. So what I'm going to do, let's just go over here. I am going to try to kind of make a cylinder over it, but there are many ways. So for example, you may think of doing the same thing as we did in the previous lab, and yeah, for example, I can say To my IAT, please. Where is that? Sorry. Yeah, I can use the booleans. Where was that? Yeah, booleans there, a union, and then you can see that we have a circle coming out of our cube. You may think that's okay, but it's not, because you can see that, for example, this face is having, let's just count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, maybe 16 vertices if I'm right, or a little more or less. Yeah, it's not good. We want our faces to be either kind of triangles or quadrangles, and quadrangles are better, but yeah, I mean, these are the faces that we want, and we don't want to have uh, that much uh, very big faces there. So let's just go back and see what we can do instead of that. Let's see if, yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is to use the insert edge loop little different here. Let's just go ahead, click on this square here, and then just use multiple edge loops. And what I'm going to do is to have 5 multiple edge loops. So let's see what happens. It will put edge loops exactly with equal distances from each other. So just do it along both the x and z uh, direction. Yeah. So we want to have, let's say, 36 squares in both up and low faces of our cube. And then what I'm going to do is to go to the up view, select these edges, not all the edges, only the edges added just by using the insert edge loop tool. And I'm not going to do that for the uh, edges in the bottom of our model. So if you just want to, let's say, remove these edges from our selection, use control and move your, and drag your mouse when by pressing the left mouse button, and select those edges that you don't want. Now you see that you only have these edges. I hope that makes sense. And then delete all of them. So again, let's just go back, go to the top view, select all these edges, go to perspective, or for example front view, select control, and then select all the bottom edges to deselect them and just have the upper ones. Is there any problem doing this step?
Mehdi,
Yeah.
sorry for interruption, but again, what's the logic behind that? Why you are doing this?
Yeah, so the faces should only have 4 or 3 vertices. More than that is really hard to kind of modify your model, because faces have just one normal, and when you are trying to kind of move some vertices up or down, or yeah, for example, change their position, you will have on a smooth, let's say, face, you want your face to be flat. But when you have more than 4 vertices, you can easily make very strange faces that the uh, let's say game engines or rendering engines don't know how to deal with them, and how to kind of put lights over them. So let's say, for example, some of the faces are lighter or darker. For example, you can see these are darker, these are lighter, because it's using some normal vectors over each face, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so try to have just faces with only 3 or 4 vertices. And for example, over here you can see we have a face with, I don't know, with maybe 12 plus, maybe 20 vertex if I'm right. 24 vertex if I'm right. Yeah, I think it's 24. 24 vertices, and we will kind of solve it now. But yeah, that's the problem.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
How did you deselect the bottom edges again?
Yeah, so let's just go back. You have selected all of them. Now what you can do is to go to either in the perspective or in the front or side view and press and hold Control and drag your mouse while you are holding the left mouse button. With that you will deselect those. Tell me what is that working for you? Yeah, you should be in the edge mode. Just make sure that you are in the edge mode and then delete them with holding Control and making kind of a window over all the edges you don't want. So by clicking on the shift and pressing the shift and clicking on edges, you can add them. So for example, if I want to have all of these vertices, but by Control you can deselect some edges. Is that working now?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So now I'm going to add a center to my let's say to my upper square here, and then have some small rectangles here that divide my square, and you will see why we need that. So you can use the cut or multi-cut tool. I mean, I don't think it's different here because we are just going to do a very simple thing, sorry, but yeah, you will see the difference in future. So what you do is to just select the first vertex and then second one and click enter. That's it. Again, select the first vertex, then second one, enter. So what you are going to do is to just select the proper ones. That, I mean, the edge between them goes exactly through the center of our circle here. If you don't do it, then you will have more than one vertex at the I mean over your cube here. Don't forget to click on press enter after adding each edge.
I have a question. So, how do you make the edges on the top disappear?
Just select all of them and then delete them. Have you tried to select them?
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay. Yeah, just use the delete button on your keyboard. That would delete it for you. Now you can see I have all of the faces I wanted, and I have only one vertex at center. Let me just move it upward that you can see. Yeah, you can see it's only one vertex there. And yeah, and again moving between one and normal and smooth mode is by clicking on 1 and 3 buttons on your keyboard. By pressing them. And there's also one good thing about the smooth mode, in which that you can see if you have made something problematic in your model. For example, now I can see that I haven't added any sharp let's say edges to my model, and everything, when I try to smooth it, it just gets smooth. It's important to have a very nice let's say model in rendering or in game engine. So uh, I mean I think we don't have enough we wouldn't have enough time to add edges at the end, but don't forget to uh, do whatever needed for your model when you want to kind of make it smoother or sharper or whatever. Yeah, and now we are going to use bevel here, and that's really interesting. But yeah, you will see that bevel also works here, and let me just put 0.6 for the width of my bevel.
Sorry.
So again, go ahead.
How did you select the center?
Just go, right click on your model and then go to vertex.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, and then you can select vertices. Just select the center vertex. As I said, select on the bevel. Put whatever number you want. I would go with 0.6. Yeah, and what I'm going to do is to go to the up view, the top view I mean, and then select all the vertices. And there is one nice tool here, which is circularize. When you click it, it will make a circle for you. You can see all my faces over here are having exactly 4 vertices, which is really great. And now I also have my required circle here. Oh, I don't know what I did here. Okay, yeah, that was my mistake. So make sure that you don't select the vertices at the bottom of your model. I did this mistake, and then make your circle. Yeah, and then now I can kind of work with my, let's go over here, yeah, with this circle here, and kind of make a very good looking cylinder coming out of my cube. So again, let's just go with extrude. There are many ways you can, as I said, hold the shift and move the cylinder up, and yeah. So again, you can see that there is kind of an edge here between the yellow and white cylinder. So what I'm going to do is to again use that connect tool. Sorry, I prefer the multicut tool. Let's see if I can correctly find the vertex I'm looking. Maybe that's not the best. Just trying to think of a better way to uh, uh, kind of connect vertices together, because that's important. I need it as I want to have a smaller kind of circle. Yeah, I think there is also one other way to do that. I can go with that as well. Let's just do with it and see if that works. Okay, no. Sorry, I'm just thinking of a better way. Maybe just go with the connect, and then the only problem with using the connect is that maybe it's a little hard for you to connect all of them, and maybe there is also a little problem with the position of the vertices, that they are not exactly and correctly placed in front of each other, that you may have some problem with having just one center. Let's see what happens. I'm just selecting each 2 vertices and then click on this. Oh, it's not working. Sorry. I'm just selecting each 2 vertices and then okay, I understand. I think why it is happening, because there is an edge between them, so it cannot connect them. So maybe it's better to use multicut if that works. Okay, this one to this one. Why it is not working? Okay, it gets really annoying sometimes. I guess that's working now. Then for example this one to this one. I guess it's kind of working, hopefully. Let's see what happens at the end. So I forgot to try to see if that works or not. I think it's going well now. So just click on the multicut and then try to uh, add the correct, connect the correct vertices together. I just selected a wrong vertex. Okay, it's a little hard to select the vertices correctly, but I guess with some try and error you will be able to do that. Okay, I guess we are now okay. Let's see if we only have one vertex or not. Yeah, I think it's only one. Sorry, and then going to the it is okay. Going to the smooth version, I think, yeah, we only have one vertex. That's good to know. Okay, and going to the normal mode. Any question?
How did you get the cylinder inside again?
You mean this one that we are looking?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just connected each two vertices together that go exactly through the center of the cube, and then we just at the end we use bevel, which is maybe I'm thinking of doing it again for you because describing it is kind of little hard. I don't think that you can do it by just hearing what I say. Okay, and here what we did was to select all the edges from the top and then deselecting the bottom ones, just going really fast. Okay, and now when we have these vertices there, we go to the modeling toolkit and then use the connect button there and connect, sorry, use the multicut there and connect each two uh, kind of vertices that go exactly through the center of this upper square. I will do it very fast. Oh, okay. That's the problem with remote learning. I think if we were in a lab together, we could easily go over our system and take a look at what we are doing. Okay, and now by just selecting that vertex, go to bevel and just make it maybe 0.8. And what you can do is to, oh no, sorry, not 0.8, maybe 0.6, because I don't want to get it so much big that it goes out of the cube, out of the square. And then maybe just select, okay, it doesn't work. Select all the vertices from top and deselect the ones from the bottom and go to this circularized, where was that? Yeah, it's here. Circularize button and you will get your circle there. And now you can just, that was a very long step, you can just extrude your cylinder out.
Wait, sorry, where's circularized bottom?
It's exactly here in the
Oh, okay.
poly modeling, yeah, there. Any other question? And you could have a better circle if you wanted. You just needed to have more vertices. I just used less, but you can always try to make it better. Okay, maybe we can just put it a bit there in case we need it. Okay, and I'm going to do what I did again. Hopefully that works. Pebble, yeah, it works. I'm so happy. And yeah, what I'm going to do is to make it maybe around 0.95, so only 5% is remaining and is over there for the kind of edge you see here. Where's the image here? You see here with the yellow circle there, and then again what I'm going to do is to extrude it. Let's extrude here, move it upward. Okay, sorry, and then scale it but uniformly along the X and Z direction to make it kind of smaller. Yeah, so basically all these steps are the same, but then again what I'm going to do is to go and connect all of these vertices together. I'm sure that there is a better way, but I cannot find a better one, at least for now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so just try to connect all of this again. Okay, and again you can select that vertex there, do the bevel, and based on the picture you can see here it's kind of bigger, so I'm just going to go with the I mean this edge, this white edge here is kind of bigger, so maybe 0.8 would do the trick. And at the end maybe we can just, as I said, we are not going to be exactly the same, but yeah, we can just extrude it down for the uh, blender picture, if I say the name correctly, to be placed over our blender. I guess that's okay for now, but don't forget again to whenever you're doing the modeling, do the sharp edges, and then if you need, do the bevel to have softer edges. But yeah, that's it for the base, and I'm going to go for adding the buttons, but before that, let's just see if there is any question or problem. Any question, any problem? And please don't hesitate to say that maybe I'm just going slow or maybe fast. Yeah, just say whatever concern you have so that I can adapt myself. Any question, any problem?
Yeah. So after you make the circle, how do you make the circle like larger or smaller without messing up all the vertices?
What you can do is to, for example, select all the vertices here. Let's say I want to make all or some of the uh, circles bigger, and then what I can do is to go to scale and scale it uniformly, bigger or smaller. Yeah, for example, like
Okay.
this. And again, for example, if I wanted to only make that make these last vertices smaller or bigger, I could just select these ones I wanted. Yeah, it's completely up to you on what vertex you choose and what you want to do. Yeah, but the scale is kind of very helpful for moving all the vertices, especially in the symmetric objects, uniformly along some directions to make them smaller or bigger. Yeah, any other question? Any problem? Okay, it seems everyone is okay. Let me check yeah, the chat is also okay. What I'm going to do is to extrude these faces forward to add these buttons. I'm not going to do many buttons, but a few of them would be enough. So again, select the first one, hold the shift, double click on the last one, you will have all of them. Hold the shift and move the faces. Oh, maybe sorry, I should have selected these ones because this is the forward, I mean the front of our model. This is the back of our model. Yeah, extrude your faces. What from two things you could determine whether it's the front or your back. Whenever I select all these faces, I had to go backward to kind of I was thinking that I'm adding something in front of it, but then I realized that the arrow is kind of in opposite direction. So I realized that this is the front of my model. Also, if you look at these arrows, if you remember from the previous session, these three arrows show you the overall front, left, and up direction in your board. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to extrude it. Um, it's based on you and what you see is the best. I will extrude a little more. I think that's fine. And yeah, what I would do is to select all these edges and move them down. Now you can see it's kind of having a small slope, and for example, if you wanted to have a smooth face here, you could use the bevel. I'm not going to do that, but obviously you could do it. And I'm going to use the insert edge loop tool, but again with the relative distance from edge, and relative and equal distance from edge are the same over here, but it would be different if the length of the edges would be different. So for example, right now if you want to have, for example, 10 centimeters of line between these two, you could use equal, or for example, if you wanted to have exactly 10% occupied by these vertices, you could use the relative, but it's going to be the same here, so it's not really important for now. Just wanted to mention the difference, and let me just bring my picture. Oh, wait, it's not selecting it. Sorry. Okay, yeah, it's selecting it now. To the right, and let me add another edge loop here, and oh, it's not a good one. Okay, so that's it for this part, and yeah, let's just trying to see what's the best. Yeah, let's just add a few more lines here, which decide the exact position in which the uh, buttons are going to be placed. So there is a little problem that whenever I want to add an edge loop tool here, it's going to be added there. So I'm just thinking of the best way for kind of adding a segment here without having to uh, yeah, without having to manipulate those parts. Okay, so I think what we can do, because let's say we want to have our buttons here, what I can do is to select these faces. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is to where is the interactive tool, if it is still in Maya. I'm trying to add some vertices for now to some places, and then okay, let's just go ahead with the insert edge loop tool and we'll see what we can do there. Insert edge loop tool, where is it? It's there, and go with the equal, yeah, multiple edge loop tools, and not 5, that's too much. Maybe 3 would be enough. Let's see, I think 2 is also enough for me. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is to um, select all these edges. So let's just select this edge and this edge, and deselect only these vertices, or even these edges as well. Yeah, and delete all of them. And with that, you will see some ghost vertices here. These vertices should be deleted because they are not connected to anywhere. Oh, these edges should be also deleted as well. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is to select these vertices, then delete them. I mean, for example, if you click and select all of these, those that don't have any edge over them would be deleted by default, so you don't need to worry about them. But some of them would remain here, for example, that you should go over them and delete them. Let me just double check everything. Yeah, so maybe we could think of it from and previously, but now at least we have something. And now what I'm going to do is to extrude it, and yeah, using the extrude tool there is better because it's just going to follow the normal on that surface. Yeah, because let me show you what would happen if you just use the extrude here. It will go completely upward here, but if you use the extrude there, it will give you the arrows based on the normal of this surface. And normal, I think you know, but let me just say, is a vector perpendicular to this surface. So that's one thing. And there is one problem here. We have a face also here that has more than two vertices. So it's not a good habit, but for now what we are going to do is to connect these two vertices together to have at least a two rectangles and yeah, two triangles and one rectangle. So let me just go with the multi-tool, multi-cut tool, and connect these two and do the same for these two as well. Okay, now you will see that it is kind of connected together. There's also one another way that if you want, to, for example, add a smaller button here. It's up to you on what you think is better, and you may select things wiser than I do, because let's say it wasn't a very good idea. For example, if you wanted to go with this idea, you could just add it. I mean, you could just connect these vertices together, and exactly as you learned previously, just use the bevel. Now you have a lot better, let's say, face here, and you can freely just select these vertices and make sure that you don't select the vertices from bottom. And what you can do is to uh, scale it along these dimensions, but it's not going to also be a good way to do that, because if you just take a look at that, I mean, this face is kind of having a slope, but if you scale it, you will see that you're making some unsmoothness here, and the best way is to use the number here when you're beveling, when you are using the bevel. Yep, so for example this one, and what you can do is to, I'm just thinking of what is the best way for us to have our points, let's say, in the between here. So what you could do, for example, is to where is this insert edge loop tool, is to have multiple ones, and let's see if that works. Yeah, for example, I could move this a little forward as well, and now what I can do is to uh, hmm, yeah, that's the best way. Yeah, I am just thinking, sorry, for a better way to do it. Yeah, and then in this panel we have uh, yeah, okay, we can go with inserting a new edge loop. I'm just trying to find the best way so that you don't waste your time in adding unwanted edges or vertices and then deleting them. Sorry, yeah, insert edge loop and then multiple ones, and going with 4. Okay, it's not working there. It's not working there as well. So that's that. This one is definitely one way. I'm just thinking of a maybe simpler way for adding buttons. But before that, while I'm thinking, you can ask your questions if you have any. Do you have any question? Problem up until now? And also, I think there is also one thing that you may find it useful when you are trying to do this stuff. For example, now I want to have my face back. I can delete all these faces, and then what you can do is to select all these edges. And I think you can go to where was the fill hole stuff there. Yeah, it's there. So I think that the best way, at least for now, that comes into my mind is to uh, use that insert edge loop tool and not, yeah, just go with 2 and then go with deleting all the edges just by clicking all of them and then unclicking these 2 and selecting all the vertices along this direction, deleting them. I think all the unwanted ones are deleted. Yeah, exactly. And now what I can do is to where is it? Extrude my button upward. Do the same for, let's say, having 2 more buttons here. And don't forget to do this vertex thing. I mean, where is that? Use the multicuts to connect these 2. Connect these 2 as well. Do the same here. Yeah, I think then you can have your let's say 2 buttons here, and you can go ahead and add the other 2 more buttons there. That's definitely one way. And yeah, there is also one kind of simple way that comes into my mind is to maybe, yeah, for example, you can have, let me just add a cube here. Let me move it upward. Okay, and scale it. There's also another maybe simpler way that comes into my mind just now. Move it downward and maybe rotate it in a way that it's kind of parallel to your surface. Let's say I just want to add this button. Maybe you can just scale it and just scale it to make it more similar to the button we have. Okay, and let me see, yeah, and then we can move it here. And now what you can do is to say I want to combine these 2 mesh booleans union, and then just delete. Oh yeah, that's fine. And then what you can do is to use the multicut again, add this one to this one, add one. Yeah, so for example, with having that, you will still have a face with 4 vertices there, 4 vertices there, and 4 vertices this, I mean, on the other side as well. And what I was saying, for having not more than 4 vertices in a face, is that, for example, if this is also a problem in faces with 4 vertices, or yeah, but I mean for faces with more than 4 vertices, it's going to be a lot worse. Now, for example, if you move this vertex up, you will have 2 faces. One face, you can see this line here. One face between these 3 and one face between these 3, which is not the ideal thing. We want our face to be flat, and to control that, we just use standard triangle or quadrangle, let's say, faces. Yep. So actually these are the two best ways that comes into my mind for adding buttons. I think the second one is kind of easier. It's just adding your let's say cubes and making the union with between the objects, and then kind of mm, managing your faces to have faces with 4 vertices. But I may find a better solution in the next labs. I'll tell you guys. But yeah, I mean there are many ways for doing something in the Maya, and good modelers use the best solutions. Any question? Okay, so if there are no questions, we may have a very small time so that we can try to make this picture here as well. We'll have 10 minutes. Uh, so first, let me just talk about the assignment. So in the assignment, it is, let me bring it for you. It is asking you to yeah, it is asking you to make an object and put a screenshot from the smooth and unsmooth version of it. Yeah, we have talked about the connect, the bevel. Connect is kind of the same as what was the multi-cut tool. That's the same, and the extrude. I will quickly show you the bridge as well here, and that would be it for the assignment. Just try to find something rather simple, not very simple and not very complex, and design it, and just put the final image. And also I have 2 officers in each week that you may want to use them to uh, maybe discuss a little more, and let's see if we can solve your problems. Yeah, so let's go with the picture and use the bridge on for its handler and see how it works. So because you have seen this before, I'm just going to go very fast for this part. Where was that? Okay, just going to go with my own assumptions. I'm not going to take a look at the actual picture there. And then modeling toolkit, extrude, sorry, that's this one, extrude, and then select these faces and move them upward, make them a little bigger. That should be it. And now what I'm going to do is to add a handle to my picture. And for doing that, again go to the insert edge loop tool and then relative distance from the edge. I think, yeah, make a small kind of face between these 2 places here, and do the same around the bottom of your model as well. And now do the same here. What you will have is 2 faces here. Sorry again. Maybe that's a little smaller than what I wanted, but yeah, maybe let me just make it divided by 2 instead of by 3. Yeah, for example, like this. And then sorry, face, okay, that's the problem. Language has changed on my computer. Okay, and we want to have a bridge between these 2 faces, and I think bridge is here as well. Let's start there. Okay. I think it's in edit mesh and then bridge, and there are many options there. The linear path would try to make a linear bridge between them, but since they are kind of parallel to each other, you can see these two faces are exactly in the same direction, linear would definitely not work, but a smooth path. And these divisions are the number of, let's say, faces or number of fragments used to form this bridge. So let's see how it works. You can see that it's kind of working, but in the wrong direction. Let me just try to use that again. Let's see what was the problem. Where was that in the bridge there? Divisions. Bridge. That shouldn't be like this. I'm not sure why it is not working. Maybe it's because I think maybe the order of choosing them is also important, because I checked it yesterday, it was working, and that's not working today. Bridge direction custom automatic, and then to the bridge. Okay, that's really bad. So what we can do is to maybe go with the custom and do this one. Okay, that's not working. Don't know why, because it was working yesterday and it's not working here today. Okay, then again, that mesh each go soft and plus. Okay, I don't know why it didn't work at the beginning, but you may find uh, playing with these options helpful. Actually, previously I didn't need to use this tool. I changed this option there, sorry, but I don't know why it is needed here. Let me just try to do a bridge here as well. Yeah, I don't know, it's working now, but it wasn't working previously. But yeah, you can see that, for example, this bridge is made, and what I can do, for example, to modify it is to play with these vertices and place them wherever I want. That is also kind of bad, because you may change the vertices in a way that they are not still making one flat face. But yeah, I mean, that's for now one solution. And yep, before going, let me just show you one more thing that bridge could be helpful. Let me just create a cube there, bring it out, and then go to the attribute editor, add some divisions, not for the height, you don't need that. Also, even, yeah, that's fine. And make it a bit bigger. I think that's okay. And let's say I want to sorry, I want to have an H for some reason here. What you can do is to select these two faces and then go to edit mesh, bridge, and you can see that it is working. Let me just go to the model itself. Yeah, over there are, as I said, there are some options that you can work. For example, here it's linear, because you can see that they are exactly in front of each other, so linear would work, and automatic would be okay as well. And for the divisions, you can, again, what the hell? For the divisions you can so let me just fix that first. Yeah, for the divisions I think you don't need that much. Oh my god. But yeah, if you need smoother ones, just it is deselected. Okay, Windows is not helping at all. Yeah, so you can do it. And again, let me just show you something. If you wanted to have a twisted let's say bridge between them, sorry, not the bevel, bridge, you could go with a smooth path, and yeah, you could use this twist angle here, if I remember correctly. Okay, sorry, maybe we should have more divisions. Smooth path 3 is 30 and then divisions would be 10. I hope that works. Yeah, you can play with this, but yeah, you can see that it is kind of trying to be kind of to make a smoother bridge for you, if that makes sense, and a twisted ones as well, if you need that. So bridge is also useful for kind of connecting two faces together and forming some complex objects. Yeah, I think that's it. If you have any question, please ask, and if not, I think we can finish our today's lab. But and I will definitely try to find better ways for adding buttons here, and I will tell you in the next lab for sure. Any question, any problem? So do you all know what you should do for the assignment? You should, as I said, try to create a model which is not really hard or really easy. Let's say we expected you to kind of work on it around 1 to 3 hours, and then based on what you have learned for the bevel and hard edges, try to uh, make your model that behaves correctly in both normal and smooth mode, and take a screenshot from your model in both of the modes. But yeah, sorry for this part. I will try to find kind of easier one, but I think still it works, but uh, I'm sure that there will be some better options as well. And yeah, that would be it. And one last thing is that just wanted to mention that this last circle is also not good. This one, I mean. For that, you also know what you do is you should just connect, sorry, each two vertices exactly in front of each other. For example, these two, and yeah, uh, connect each two of them to to have, let's say, one center for your circle and have triangles all around it to have correct faces. Any question, any problem? And also I think I have connected wrong, let's say, vertices to each other. Yeah, maybe looking to the up would be a little easier, but yeah, that's it. Any question, any problem?
Yeah, what does connect do?
It just connects the vertices together, but sometimes it just has problem when there is an edge between two vertices. So I think the multicut is the most powerful method you can use. And yeah, I think, but they are essentially doing the same things. It just
So
connects
it's
to,
the same as multicut?
yeah, but multicut is kind of more powerful. You can, for example, see that you can connect multiple uh, vertices together, as I did here, for example. Yeah, so it's a little more powerful, but yeah, I think with going with multicut, I mean, you will have enough power to do whatever you want, so you don't need to yeah, bother with the connect tool. Any question? Any more question? And honestly, I have a hard time in finding vertices exactly in front of each other, so you may find it a little easier or harder. Any question? Any problem? If not, then we can kind of stop our today's lab and see you in the next week. I think at the end I have found the correct vertices, hopefully. Let's see if that works. But yeah.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
When we post the recording?
Tonight.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Okay, and for assignment, don't forget to clean your model as I'm doing right now. For example, don't leave faces with
For the
multiple
assignment,
vertices.
we just submit the screenshot of our project
Yeah,
like last time.
yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, that's also good to put the wireframes as well so that we can take a look at it, but that's not necessary for this assignment.
Sorry?
But as I said, it's good to put an image showing the wireframe. It's the wireframe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's also good, but it's not necessary for this assignment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? No problem. Let me just bring the Discord to see the chat as well. You type anything there. Okay, I guess that's the end of the lab. Sorry for going 4 minutes, I think more than that as well. But yeah, have a great evening and yeah, you're welcome, Rachel. And see you next week or in the office hours if you have any question.